Welcome to the Time Management Podcast with me, your host, Abigail Barnes. I'm a productivity coach, global speaker, time management author, and award-winning entrepreneur on a mission to share the 888 formula with the world and to remind you that it's your time. Leave it to me to bring you new time management tips, tricks, tools, and strategies, to introduce you to guests, research, and case studies from around the world, and to give you a simple 5-step process you can follow to uplevel your productivity, achieve your goals, and create a life that exceeds your wildest dreams. I'm so excited that you're here, so let's get started. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're here. It's you and me today for a conversation about efficiency versus effectiveness and how you can play the productivity game. This episode is for you if you are drowning in your to-do list. It's also for you if you are struggling to know how to prioritize what matters. And it's also for you if you are ready to get on top of your to-do list and your life admin once and for all. Let's start with what is efficiency and what is effectiveness. Efficiency is doing something well. Effectiveness is doing something that will move the needle. Now, why this matters is for decades, efficiency and effectiveness has been a conversation, but in relation to manufacturing. The world of work has changed, but the productivity conversation hasn't really moved on and kept up with it. Until now, until I started recently reading Cal Newport's new book, Slow Productivity. And for the first time ever, the work that we do was discussed. Cal Newport talks about us as the knowledge workers. Time management and productivity traditionally has focused around manufacturing, around how efficient it is for you to produce a car, for you to produce clothes, for you to produce physical products. However, the majority of us in this time right now, this time of recording the podcast, are working in office jobs, and we are doing these roles from home, from the office, from the coffee shop, from the co-working spaces, from remote locations. We are working from Wi-Fi. And why this actually really matters is that finally we now have the ability to talk about efficiency and effectiveness in a way that it relates to us, because we are not producing widgets. Our efficiency and our effectiveness comes down to how we work in order to achieve the goals that we have, how effective we are in achieving them, and then how efficient we can be with the resources that we have, with the systems we have, with the technology that we have, etc. I am so excited that we can have this conversation and that Cal Newport has started it with his new book. I highly recommend it. We'll leave the link to it in the show notes. Really now, efficiency for us, the knowledge workers, is secondary. Effectiveness, our goal, becomes our primary objective, because not all tasks on our to-do list are created equal. In episode 35 of the podcast, Procrastination is a Trauma Response, we were talking about how you handle your procrastination. The reason I'm mentioning this here in this episode is that often a to-do list and overwhelm are very common crossovers in conversations that I have with clients and audiences that I speak to. Overwhelm is a procrastination tactic. Overwhelm is a habit. Yes, we might feel it, but there are steps for us to overcome it. If we keep that vibration alive, if we keep saying I'm overwhelmed, we'll keep believing I'm overwhelmed, we'll keep creating I'm overwhelmed, and then we can't move forward. So check out episode 37 of the podcast if overwhelm is something that you are struggling with. Because time management is actually impossible. I know, irony. The podcast is called the Time Management Podcast. Time management really comes down to task management, and task management is your goal. How are we effectively managing our time or allocating our time towards achieving the goal. From a high performance habits point of view, the habit that you need to adopt, well, first of all, you don't need to if you want to. The habit that you could adopt, which would be helpful for you to achieve what it is that you want to achieve, is a success mindset. So we are reframing this concept of managing time to managing tasks, the things that I have to get done in order to move the needle, in order to achieve the goals that I have. High performance habit mindset point of view, progress beats perfection. And what I mean by this is they call it the 1%, and I call it the 1% unfair advantage. Because what I'm about to explain to you gives you an unfair advantage over everybody else. And please, please, please don't keep this to yourself. Don't gatekeep it. Share it with others. Share it with your friends. Share it with your peers. Share it with your colleagues. The 1% advantage is the understanding that progress will get you to the result. Progress beats perfection, but progress will get you to your result one step at a time, 1% at a time. Example. If you want to achieve the aesthetic, the physical body that you want to go in the clothes that you want to wear, to go to the event that you want to go to, you have made a decision that you want to look a certain way, you want to feel a certain way. You don't go to bed and wake up the next day and it's all done. It's about the incremental steps, the 1% changes that you make, exercising, taking more steps, switching out some food for some other food, all the things you know. This isn't a nutrition podcast, so I'm going to stop there. But I'm using this as an example of step by step by step by step by step. If you wanted to get a new job, for example, you would do some research, evaluate your skill set, update your CV, speak to your network, register with some agencies, go to some interviews, practice online, etc., etc., etc. 1% at a time gets you to your goal. And I call it the unfair advantage because the life that we have, the results that we have are the result of our ability to reframe. We can all choose to find the negative. It's easy. Everybody, pretty much, is happy to talk about the negative things. If you want to change your life, if you want to enjoy your life, if you want to have the results of the people that you admire, the success that you know you can have, the decision comes down to reframing or not. Do I want to reframe my reality or not? And it was the great Vince Lombardi who said that winners never quit and quitters never win. So progress over perfect, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. We can all have slip ups in the things that we want to achieve. But if we keep moving forward, even though, if we pause and we don't stop, this is something that I talked about in a recent procrastination webinar training that I ran, how to stop procrastinating once and for all. One of the success secrets I was sharing there is something that I call pause, not stop. Because if you know anything about momentum, pushing something to get it started is the hardest work. Once it gets going, momentum picks up. And this is what happens for us and for our result. In life, it's really about keeping your eyes on the prize, your eyes on this goal. So here's some homework for you from this episode. There's 4 questions plus a bonus. So question number 1, what do you want? Brain dump on a piece of paper. What do you actually want? Question number 2, prioritize that list that you've just brain dumped in order of what matters most. Question number 3, commit to what it is that you want. Allow yourself to want it. Your results are going to follow your actions. And then number 4, this was the advice of a mentor when I first started on my business journey, when I moved from my corporate job into my entrepreneurial life chapter. Their advice was jump in, the water's warm. And that's what I'll say to you. Whether it's warm or not, I don't know what warm is to you. You don't know what warm is to me. all I can tell you is the water's warm. And if you get in and you don't feel like the water's warm, you can start swimming and you will warm up. And then the bonus tip for all of this is identifying what could stop you. You might want to now write a list of all those things that you think might stop you. And one of the biggest ones in my experience is I don't have enough time. So, my friend, episode 15 of the podcast, if you haven't audited your time yet, what are you even doing? The links are in the show notes for how to audit your time. You can buy a copy of my book. You don't even have to buy a copy of my book. You could start with the free chapter, but audit your time. Please, please, please. It will change the game. It will change everything for you. What else could stop you? Episode 25, imposter syndrome. What else could stop you? Episode 2, the procrastination perfection loop. What else could stop you? Episode 24, human design. When you understand your own individual human design, let's talk this week about strategy and authority. How you make decisions and how you respond to opportunities is unique to you. It's absolutely mind-blowing. That episode is a great place to start, and the conversation keeps going on and on and on. Let me know what questions you have about human design or anything around this episode, as this will help me to then create future episodes for you answering your questions. Because fundamentally, it is your time. I will say this over and over and over again. This week, we're talking about efficiency and effectiveness, how to make sure that you are doing the things that will move the needle. And these are things that will move the needle not only for your career and your business, but also for your life, because your time is like water. It relates to everything. It relates to your entire life experience. And the game is to enjoy the life experience. The game is to enjoy the journey. If we just kept achieving the thing, achieving the thing, achieving the thing, achieving the thing, how boring would this life experience be? And granted, some of the lessons that we're learning on the journey, perhaps we would, on reflection, maybe not have to learn. However, what's happening is each of these lessons is building our courage muscle, knowledge muscle, resilience muscle. It's giving us the foundations that we need in order to be able to do the things that we want to do at the next level. Because say you want more money. If you want more money brings more responsibility. More money brings more decisions. More money brings more things to do with that money. The lessons that we're learning on the journey are helping us to become the person who can handle that. No problem, no worries. If you want more time, what is it that you want to do with that time? The lessons are helping you to see, I'd actually quite like time freedom. I'd actually quite like to work 4 hours a day. I'd actually quite like to work 4 hours a week. Okay, well, these lessons are helping you to see efficiency, effectiveness, identifying what matters from what doesn't matter, what's noise and what's necessary. Each of these things is helping us to become the person we need to be in order to go to the next level. It's almost like this life experience has been designed to give us everything we need and to support us. And I say that with a touch of jest, because what if it has been designed like that? Who knows? That's a bit of an esoteric conversation. But when we really get our time, our actions, we can't control the time, but we can control our actions. I said earlier, the tasks that we do are the things that matter. This episode has been such an amazing conversation. It's your time, it's my time, it's our time. Let me know what you would like to see more of on the podcast, what questions you have for me. If you're loving these episodes, please leave us a review, as they do help us reach more people. We now have listeners in 91 countries, which is just so incredibly mind-blowing, considering that I procrastinated for so long over starting this podcast and repeatedly have not thought it's a good idea to continue it. If you are loving the episode, please leave us a review. They are so helpful. Recommend it and share it with your friends. I know so many of you already are, as you're reaching out to me to let me know that you're doing this. And I love that. It really, really does make me so happy to read your top takeaways and your thoughts on all the social media platforms. As always, all the links you need are in the show notes. If you want to buy a copy of my book, you can buy it from the link in the show notes. You can also find it on Amazon worldwide as well. And we have lots of different trainings that you can invest in. There's free trainings, there's paid trainings. And if you feel like these conversations would be useful within your organization as well, we do organizational training. So reach out. And until next time, my friend, stay safe, stay well, and remember, it's your time. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to let me know by leaving a review so I can keep the good stuff coming. Come and say hi on Instagram at Success by Design Training, or visit my website, successbydesigntraining.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Abigail Barnes. Until next time, don't forget, you are amazing and it's your time.